Ladies and gents, as you're coming in, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, if you can raise your hand so we know that we are winning. Philip gets fastest finger first. Folks, thanks very much. Cool, we're definitely winning. So Simon Brown here, as always, joined by Njabulo and Nsibande. Quick housekeeping. Remember, next week is budget week, so we're going to push it to Thursday because budget week is always just crazy, crazy week. So we'll still have it, but your reminder will come a day later, and we'll do the webcast Thursday evening rather than the usual Wednesday evening. This evening, as always, I'll go through. I've still got my Standard Bank trade. I've got some of the offshore ones on the indexes that are working, and then we'll switch over to Njabulo. But my Standard Bank is still there. Remember, I eventually got taken out at profit on my Telkom. We've had some red days. What I have done is I've moved my stop up, and you can see it now sitting just below there, which gives me that low and the previous in a sense. It is slightly in the profit by stop losses 127. Yeah, it's 50 cents in profit. So if I get hit on the stop, I will lose because of the swap, the cost of the swap. But we'll see. As I said, I'm running that trade. As soon as it's done, I'll move this cash across into the USD account. USD looking okay. It was looking a lot better this time yesterday. We had weakness across the world today. Excuse me. So the trades that we're currently in, this is the Nifty 50. Remember, it's the mess up trade, and that I've got far too much risk, but it's in my profit, so I'm happy. Looking at any weakness, and that green, which is the 7 moving average, is in particular what I'm keeping an eye on. So we've had some days where it's coming down, but at this point, it's still, it's not the level of weakness I'm worried about yet. So, but if we do see, I will cut the position. And remember, I'm not going to put the profit into my P&L. I'm going to put it into my capital because it was a short answer, wrong trade. Herman, current thoughts regarding current volatility in markets? Yeah, I mean, certainly, I mean, markets are volatile, and we're seeing it perhaps a little bit more now than usual. I'm not sure it's massively more than usual. And it, what does volatility tell us? Uncertainty. And the uncertainty is around vaccines, around next waves, around data coming out. We've got a budget speech next week in the US. Where is their stimulus? Where Biden's been there. It'll be a month next week, and no stimulus as yet. And so markets are just a little bit skittish. It is still short answer. We're in a bull market, and we're in a bull market until we're not, and we absolutely still are. The other ones I've got a position in ASX Australia. It was also going along. It's still in profit, $2.05. 43 cents, but it pulled back a little bit today. We'll see how that rolls. The euro also in profit, almost $30. Also, again, pulled back yesterday and today. And then the S&P, which they had some good retail data out today, but again, a little bit of red coming through. So we've got the red ticking in. That's fine. We will see how it goes. My stop is the 21 moving average. And for example, here, and I want to close below that candle on the daily. My stop is actually in profit in that trade. ASX, the stop is not in profit. Euro stop is not in profit, and India is a moot one. So we'll see how they run. And Njabulo made a good point that because I'm putting alert rather than a stop loss, because I want to close, candle close. And if I do a daily alert, it's going to trigger me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm putting the alert on the hourly candle. Now, truthfully, I'm keeping this open, the app open. I'm watching what's happening, but I've got the alert. So an hourly candle that closes below will say to me, hey, gent, there's something happening here. You need to pay attention, see what the story is. Other indices that I'm watching as well. So this is the Russell 2000, essentially the small mid-cap in the US. Nothing happening in terms of crosses. The other Europeans I'm not worrying about because I'm trading the main, which is the Euro Stoxx 50. Hong Kong 50 carrying and barreling along. France, not much happening there. I'm not trading it. So this is Brazil. And interestingly, there was my candle where it crossed, but I'm still waiting for a close above it. Now, as long as the 7 stays above the 21, my trigger is intact. My confirmation is a close above that candle, which was the trigger candle. So I need that close to happen, and then I'm into the trade. China's been closed because of holidays, their new year. So although we're seeing pricing, it's derived pricing as opposed to the real McCoy. So we'll leave China until something starts to happen there. UK gets interesting. So there's my trigger candle, which has triggered, and I need a close above that trigger candle. So UK and Brazil or what I'm looking for. I'm trading UK because Eurostoxx 50s, the European indices, UK obviously separate. So I'm waiting. I'm doing the UK as well, watching how that one goes. We might get a trigger there. That was Monday. I don't know what happened in the UK on Monday, but it was a giant day for them. ZAR 40, which is South Africa, hit all-time highs, closed at an all-time high yesterday, bumbling along, but finding it a little bit tough. NASDAQ 100, again, we're seeing the same on all the charts. Some of them have got 2 days of weakness, some of them have got 3 days of weakness, but we're seeing some red coming through. And then Nikkei 225, Japan, again, not much happening there. And a chart like this in the Nikkei 225, it's going to be a while before we actually start seeing crosses starting to happen and potential new trades coming through. So we will, it's a slow process, but I'm in for. I'll bang the India out as soon as we see a little more weakness. If we do, maybe we start running again. And then I got two that have triggered, Brazil and UK. We're just waiting for the confirmation. So there's a fair bit happening, and there's enough there happening for me to be comfortable with this space. The P&L is looking good. If we strip out the India, we're just short of $100 into profit. So happy with that, looking decent. But with that, Njabulo, I'll hand over to you. How's your trades been going this past week?
Yeah, it's been quite a good week. Started off well, but the past 2 days have been rather bleak, especially today. That's the wrong screen. Is it?
No, that looks like right screen. We've seen your yeah. No, we're winning.
Yeah. So I got stopped on DRD eventually. I think I'm 3-0 on gold miners. Maybe I should just stay away from the gold miners. When it broke that support there, I got stopped today. I'm actually quite glad that it eventually got stopped. It was starting to be a frustrating trade on DRD there. Otherwise, everything else still looks good. Still on my African Rainbow. It's still looking quite good. Also on Aspen. So there's a new thing that I'm doing on my trading now. Adopting the box system from Nicholas Davis. Essentially just trading the breakout to the next range and to the next range, and which solved the dilemma I've been having in terms of where to exit the trade, either than the target set up by the whatever trade setup whether it was a bull flag or cup in hand or whatever the case is. So with this, I'll be able to ride the trend for as long as I possibly can until the chart breaks to a lower range, in which case I'll get stopped out. The only stock that wasn't red today was BHP, looking good, looking quite lacquer. As you can see, I have my boxes in places here already, waiting for that breakthrough, that 489, in which case I will add into this position and put my stop into this box or into this range. Trading accordingly. Capitec isn't playing ball as yet, but there was this doji candle gives me hope. Today's candle, and it happens around that support of that ascending triangle pattern there. As you can see, we had a hammer doji here, another one here, another kangaroo tail here again today. So that support, that ascending support there, looking quite strong, holding Capitec quite strong at the minute. One of my favorites, starting to be my favorites, is Coronation. So the problem with the box system is that it will keep you on this trade for way too long. I mean, probably would have got triggered there and you stayed in this for about 200 almost a year.
I mean, at that point, I mean, the swap rate doesn't hurt, but at some point it does start to hurt.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how big dividends offset the swaps, but yeah, the swaps will definitely hurt. But as
Actually,
you
it's
can
a good point. So with Coronation, yes, because they're a chunky dividend payer, probably about maybe as much as an 8 or 10% yield, but that's the exception. Most stocks are not quite that generous with their dividends.
Yeah. So if the dividend, or if the stock isn't paying dividend, or the dividend is quite low, that spell will hurt.
Yeah.
Let's see how long that took. Where's the date range? I mean, it took a while. Yeah, about 236 days before it eventually broke. So you're just being decimated by swaps. But as you can see, when it does break, it broke into the higher boxes fairly quickly. It didn't last in this box, and doesn't look like it will last in this box either. Have this nice bullish flag, very close to my confirmation level, which is a 3% above the resistance level, around 51 Rand. So I'm looking for a close through 52 Rand. Well, once we get that breakthrough, I will then add into this position with a stop in the new box. This would be the old box, just below that bull flag there. Discovery, my stop is just below the older box. I'm just waiting for something to happen, but I'm waiting for if we get a close above that 163 level, which is then would break into the next box, I will then add into this position. But at the moment, it seems to be going nowhere slowly. Distal, the support of so this red line is the support of the current box, of the current range. It looks like it's holding for at the moment, and once it breaks that, once it closes around above that 118 level, I'll then trail my stop halfway through this 96 111 box. Exaro has been looking quite decent this past couple of weeks. If this thing would load.
Yeah, we have you. Oh, there we go. Your screen is back.
Yeah,
Just not loading.
Yeah, Exaro did look like it was breaking. It actually did break.
I like Exaro.
New box, but it hasn't confirmed as yet. So I'm looking for the close through 183, and then I'll add into this position. I'm liking Exaro a lot as well.
It's a stock I like fundamentally as well. I mean, and not because I think coal has a future, but because it's just so cheap.
Yeah. Fushini breaking into new boxes very quite nicely, but similarly with Distal, these two haven't crossed as yet. But Distal is closer than Fushini to crossing. But yeah, waiting for those to cross before I can start to add into this position. Perhaps when we break 127, then these two would have crossed, and in which case I'll add into this trade. Another one I'm liking a lot at the moment is Glencore. These coal miners are looking quite lacquer these days. So also looking for the breakthrough the 60 Rand level, in which case I will add into. Exaro is one of the charts that the boxes are just fitting perfectly, tracing that support and resistance. Once we break through that 60 Rand level, I'll then add into this position. If we can jump back to my daily chart. Yeah, and it's looking quite lacquer to break that 60 Rand level. Perhaps it looks like maybe tomorrow, if that doesn't hold as support, I'll add into this position if we get a close above there tomorrow. Similarly with Impala, I'm waiting for the 243 level to break, in which case I'll add into this trade and try and put my stop accordingly halfway through this what is it, 196 to 43 range. So I'm drawing these ranges on my weekly charts, and then look for the breakouts on the daily charts. Monday looking quite decent. Waiting for the breakthrough that 385 level, in which case I'll add into this position and trail my stop accordingly as well. Mr. Price, when it broke, it looked like it was starting to move, but it doesn't look like it's actually moving. But when we break through that bull flag, I'll add into this position because we're breaking into the new box. We're just testing that what was resistance now is turning into support. When we break through that bull flag, I'll add into this position and pull my stop around just below those that swing low there, around that 171 level, and accordingly pull the current stop as well. Northern, I think on Monday, it traded above that resistance of 218, and I thought it was going to break, but towards the close, just shot straight back down. And today, similarly, coming back down. Yeah, just waiting for the break, either to stop me out or to break through that 218, in which case I'll add into. But the platinum chart is looking quite good. So PGMs, I'm happy to be holding PGMs at the moment.
Yeah, they still look solid. And I mean, platinum had a good week last week, pulled back a bit this week, but.
Yeah, and what is this? Quilter. So it broke through there, and I had missed it when it came back to retest. Yeah, added into this position, but it was on a bull, that nice bull flag there. It looks like I'm gonna get stopped on this trade. And so to implement the box system, I did pull my stop down a little bit, just so that it's just because it was very, very close to this 31 Rand support, just to put it below it. So my risk on this grew from 2% to about 3%. But that's not it's a more of exception than the rule. And similarly with Coronation, when trading the box system on RMB, that period was going to hurt. It stayed for a long time in this box. But when it did eventually break, it did move quite aggressively. When we break, I'm actually supposed to be pulling my stop to around 69 Rand. But this chart is quite volatile. As you can see, there's too many wigs. So I wanted to trade quite a fair bit away from the support. Then I can pull that stop. And I'm quite comfortable at the moment where it is. I can pull my stop. And my stop will be below that 50-day exponential moving average. And you see my 200, where's my 200-day? 200 days too far to be using as a stop loss. Yeah, but I can just drag that there. Okay, I just updated my stop there. Yeah, we're good. So the initial trade is slightly in profit in terms of the stop loss. The second trade, the risk has been halved at the minute. Top 40 amongst my favorite. And we
just ticking, hey?
Yeah, we had our target at 75,000 points on the ZAR 40, and it's looking good. And it did look like it was going to break the 59.62 box. I'm not particularly trading the box system on the Citrix Forts. I'm trading the lazy, waiting for the price to revert back to that 15-day exponential moving average. In which case I'll get triggered on this position. As you can see, my stop is that 30-day exponential moving average. The first couple of trades are well in profit at the moment. It's only this recent one that's the stop is coming close to break even. Um, looking quite lekker. Our top 40 is looking quite good. ShopRite looking decent. Waiting for when are the results on ShopRite coming out? I thought there was
So
supposed to come.
No, we had the update. We had a trading update 2 days ago. Results, I think early March, maybe late next week, otherwise the week after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So perhaps that will be the determining factor of where this the stock is going, either up or down. I'm waiting for the breakthrough 154, which is incidentally was my confirmation level. I want to close above 154. I'll add into this position and throw my stop into below that low there, unless there's a better place to put a stop. That's where I'll put my stop, and my think that will be pretty close to break even.
Yeah.
It's buying another one that was looking good. It looked like it was going to break, but it did break. Didn't confirm. Came short yesterday. Came back down just before the close. Today it had this doji, pretty much close weight opened. But yeah, waiting for the close through 72 rand. Then I'll add into this position. As you can see, the Nsibande chart is one of the charts that I've fully drawn these boxes properly. I think it's the first chart that I tested this box system on. Transaction looking like it's coming back to this previous box, and similarly with RMB, I wasn't in a hurry to pull that stop because, as you can see, those wigs, the transaction capital, and I believe you got stopped as well on one of these wigs when on transaction when you traded it last year.
Yeah, that's what took me. And it was just, I mean, someone dropped 20,000 shares in the early morning, stopped me out, and it actually closed green on the day.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not particularly in a hurry to move that stop halfway through that box. But that's 24 rand is an interesting place to put a stop. Waiting to see how if it re-breaks back into that higher box, I would then trail my stop accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. From a question that came through in the week on Twitter was, how do I calculate my position size with risk to ensure that I risk a fraction of my portfolio? So what I do is I put my account size here at the moment is, and I use the balance rather than the equity because the equity changes quite way too frequent for my liking. I use the balance because it changes infrequently. It changes either by swaps or by profit or loss. So I'm happy to use the balance to calculate my risk. So it's 4834. What's that? And then I'll put on this sheet 34. And then I put my entry and I put my stop and then my target, and then my risk is my entry. So if I'm long, my entry minus my stop, and then I'll get my risk per share, and then I'll divide my risk per share into my capital at risk. So my 2% of my account balance is 96 rand. So I just divide 96 rand by the risk per share, which gives me how many shares I need to buy. So I have it on this Excel spreadsheet.
Cool. Question coming through about gold. Let me pull back to my screen. I got to say, I see no reason why we want to buy gold at this point.
Yeah, look at that symmetrical triangle, and it broke below. That support didn't hold.
Yeah. I mean, gold is just at this point, it's below every moving average I have on my screen. It looks like the 50 and Yep, the 50 and 200 has crossed. We've got lower lows. The trade on gold right now is B short, I think. To me, there's nothing here that says to me buy gold at all.
Yeah.
I think we leave it. Yeah. And I'm with Regan. Paper gold is currently my only short. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a gold position, I think it's better off in the short space. And then, Njabulo, a question coming through around you get the stop losses. How do you working out your targets to take profits?
So typically, a setup will give me a target. For example, this gold symmetrical triangle pattern, I would have measured the width of the triangle from its broadest point and projected upwards. So it depends on a setup. But at the moment, from now on, I'll be exiting only on stop loss as I trail it behind me, riding the trend for as long as I possibly can. But prior to that, typically the setup that I'm trading would give me the target, whether it's a bull flag, in which case I'll project the flagpole structure upward, the cup and handle, the size of the cup projected from the breakout, head and shoulders pattern, the height of the head projected from the breakout. What else? Falling wedge. The target is the top of the wedge. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. Oh, with the ranges. So the breakout of the range is usually equivalent to the target is the same size as the range, how the range was.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I take, I mean, so particularly, I trade trends. So to me, because who knows how a trend can go, and I literally stayed in a trade once for years and years. It's a case of I get out on stops, and it does mean, and it's the trades I'm sitting in right now, as we can see, some of them, if I get stopped, I'm going to suddenly go from this one here, I'll go from a little bit of profit to some loss, but that's fine, because when they do start to run, even Australia, I think as well, I'll go from some profit and you give it up. But you want those giant, this is not about making $10 here, $30 there. This is trying to catch the S&P on its next sort of, 400-point run and taking hundreds of dollars off the table from it.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the psychological difficulty on exiting on stop, because you literally watch a trade move from profit into a loss.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. And trend-based trading is as much as I think in some senses it's the easier way to trade. Truthfully, it is because, hey, catch a trend, hop in the bus. But it's hard for two reasons. One is because your stops give you back a lot of your profit, and you can have lots of small losses that can, emotionally hard on both the losses and on the drawdowns.
Yeah.
Cool. Ladies and gents, we're hitting our 6 o'clock. I'm not seeing any more questions coming through, so we will park today. As I said, next week we will do Thursday because of budget on Wednesday. Let's see what Minister Mboweni has to say to us. Everyone, thanks for your time today. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure. Yep, Regan, S&P hitting 4,000. Oh, man, going way more than 4,000. 4,000 is just a small little hop and a skip away. But hey, I'll take four. Don't get me wrong.
A quick one before we go. Village Trader t-shirts are out, so they're available. They go out for $275, and we deliver to your closest PEP store. So if you want one, email me at njabulo@villagetrader.co.za, and your size and your preferred color.
Cool. Yeah, let them know what you want. I got one. I'll wear it next week. Actually, I'll wear it for budget day. So I'm doing a ton on budget day, but there's no video involved. I've got a radio show and a webcast and everything.
Let me see. Yeah, there it is. There
it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Ladies and gents, Kenny, absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for that. Everyone have a great Wednesday evening further. Stay safe. We'll chat again next week. Cheers all.
Cheers, everyone.